ambassadors, distinguished guests, welcome to the Journalists and Writers Foundation's high-level reception and Ramadan Iftar dinner, Interfaith Iftar dinner, on the occasion of the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women 70th session. I am Cemre Ülker, representative of the Journalists and Writers Foundation to the United Nations Department of Global Communications. Well, tonight we are gathered here with Your Excellencies from UN member states and our civil society partners from Canada, Costa Rica, Greece, Kenya, Lithuania, Poland, Romania, the UK, and the United States, who are all catalysts to revitalize the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goal 5, gender equality. And I would like to extend my special appreciation for the respective ambassadors and diplomats from the permanent missions of Malta, Netherlands, Costa Rica, Japan, New Zealand, Austria, and Malaysia for their dedication to support civil society platforms. Thank you so much for your valuable presence tonight. Throughout the event tonight, you will be introduced to our trailblazer stakeholders. But in our opening session, I would like to take a moment to recognize all the courageous women in the room with whom I was honored to collaborate and establish long-lasting partnerships as we conducted months of meetings, exchanged advocacy strategies, and worked on action-oriented policy suggestions for a pivotal 2 weeks of CSW, with a mission to change the trajectory of a rampant status of women's rights. We are here tonight as active participants of this global momentum initiated by the United Nations to reaffirm our dedication and to end discrimination, violence of all forms, and thus influence political will as the backlash against gender equality intensifies in an era of historically disoriented global state. The holy month of Ramadan once again coincides with the largest global convention of women advocates in New York for the CSW. And tonight holds a critical space, a timely occasion to applaud the transformative leadership of women in every sphere of social, economic, political, and religious life, establishing just and prosperous societies for all. So in our program this evening, we will soon hear from remarks of interfaith leaders representing different religions to share a common message about the role of interreligious and intercultural dialogue for sustainable peace and development. And following the first part of the evening, we will break a bread together and enjoy a Ramadan Iftar. In the later section of our event, as the dinner continues, I will be thrilled to share the stage with the organizers and speakers of the in-person panel discussions that we are co-organizing with 22 civil society organizations from 9 countries during the CSW weeks. So we will hear their brief introductions of the work that they lead and champion for all women and girls across the world. And thankfully, we have a beautiful skyline this evening, so I hope that networking will resume again later in the night outdoors as we look forward to enjoying this spectacular view with you all. Now, to continue with our program, I would like to invite Dr. Mehmet Kılıç, the president of the Journalists and Writers Foundation, for his welcome remarks.
Honorable dignitaries, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and Ramadan Mubarak. I would like to welcome you all to the JWF high-level reception and Ramadan Interfaith Iftar dinner. This special event is to celebrate the 70th session of the UN Commission on the Status of Women. And it is also to foster peaceful and inclusive societies as we break bread around the table and embrace diverse traditions of fasting and different traditions, religious traditions. Dear guests, as you know, CSW is a significant time when women leaders and delegations from all around the world convene in New York to celebrate women's rights, raise awareness on women's empowerment, and more importantly, standing in solidarity to make a meaningful and positive social change in society. This year, we're proud to co-organize 12 panel discussions in collaboration with 22 NGOs from 9 different countries. And I would like to read them again: the USA, Canada, Costa Rica, Greece, Kenya, Lithuania, Poland, Romania, and the UK. And we have our global partners here with you at the tables. Please, let's give them a round of applause. Dear guests, since we have new faces and new friends, I would like to just brief you about the Journalists and Writers Foundation. The JWF is an international civil society organization dedicated to the culture of peace, human rights, and sustainable development. We work closely with the UN member states, UN agencies, and civil society organizations globally. The Journalists and Writers Foundation was first established in Istanbul by journalists, writers, academics, thinkers, and community leaders to build peaceful and inclusive societies where no one is left behind. Then later on in 2014, the organization was re-established in New York as an international civil society organization to contribute to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. In 2019, the organization was associated to the UN Department of Global Communications, which we work and collaborate with the UN agency to disseminate the information, the knowledge that we create with our global partners. Now, dear guests, I would like to mention that this is the global agenda that all UN member states, the private institutions and global organizations, civil society organizations are trying to achieve these 17 goals globally. And as the JWF, we are trying to contribute to the UN Sustainable Development Goals SDG number 4, which is quality education, SDG number 5, gender equality, SDG number 10, reduced inequalities, SDG number 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions, and lastly, but which is very important, it's number 17, partnership for the goals. So together, we can achieve these goals. And every little support, every little effort to achieve these goals at the local level, national level, or global level really makes a difference. Now, I would like to give the floor back to my colleague, and we have a special video for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, New York is one of the most welcoming metropoles of the world, really opening its doors wide for people from all walks of lives, for a prosperous life, promising a new beginning for migrants and anyone basically who's passionate to be a part of this multicultural hub. And we extended a keynote invitation to the office of the New York City Mayor, Zohran Mamdani. But as you might know, due to his hectic schedule, he could not be with us tonight, but he's kind enough to share a video reflections for tonight's gathering. So let's see his virtual remarks.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for the invitation and for thinking of me during this meaningful time. Ramadan Mubarak to all of you. As our city's first Muslim mayor, this is a particularly meaningful time for me. And as you may imagine, a very busy month. Unfortunately, due to prior commitments, I won't be able to attend this event in person. I am, however, immensely grateful for the invitation and wanted to pass along my warmest wishes to you and your guests. Ramadan Kareem.
So we are so grateful for the mayor for his remarks. Now, dear guests, as you know, fasting is a common practice in many religions that aims to understand the blessings of God Almighty, while building bridges and strong relationship with our friends, our families, and our communities. Interfaith understanding is important, and it is the first step towards building lasting friendships in our society. When we learn about other religions and faith traditions, we come to an understanding that we have more in common than what really separates us. For this reason, we invited amazing interfaith leaders in New York to share their reflections on the significance of fasting, generosity, and kindness in their religious traditions. So please join me in welcoming our interfaith leaders as I call them to the stage. So we would like to have you all at the stage. Father James Deluzio, Director of the Police Associates. Imam Shamsi Ali, Director of Jamaica Muslim Center and President of Nasantara Foundation. Reverend Doyen Park, Minister of the Manhattan Von Buddhist Temple. Reverend Mark E. Fowler, Chief Executive Officer of the Tannenbaum Center for Interreligious Understanding. And Guruji, His Highness Dilip Kumar Tankapan, Global Chairman of the World Yoga Community. So let's give them a round of applause. So I would like to, start by, for Father James to, take the floor, or if you would like to talk from here, I'll give it to you.
Okay. First, I want to thank the Journalists and Writers Foundation for this wonderful invitation and for including faith leaders as part of this event. What it really expresses to us and so many is that you're recognizing the spiritual dynamics, the spiritual essence of the human person, which is so often neglected. And whether people have a particular religious organization that they're part of, there's still always religious questions that remain in the human person. So it's such an honor to be among these wonderful colleagues and to be included, especially this week with the UN attending to women, because I think I could speak for all of us. We affirm that the raising of women is the rising of the race, and how important that is. Also, I do want to say that Mehmet in particular, and who's been my friend, and he was actually my host and guide when I attended the funeral for Fethullah Gulen, peace be upon him, a man of tremendous depth, wisdom, and inspiration. Who's also, his spirit is here on our evening together, how much I appreciate that. And I haven't known anyone from the Islam community here in New York who hasn't been exceptionally kind and gracious and welcoming. And even in the midst of many difficulties, as you know, with the political dynamics from Turkey, just joyful even in the midst of all these challenges. And isn't that a great invitation for all of us? As noted, I'm with the Roman Catholic tradition, the Paulist Fathers. We were the first order founded in the United States in 1858 with the goal to keep faith and culture in conversation in this, what is still very clearly an American experiment. So here we are. Just to close quickly, I've been asked to reflect on fasting and almsgiving as part of the Catholic tradition. The primary, it used to be for us, fasting was more related to abstaining from meat on Fridays, which for us is a solemn day remembering the sacrifice of Jesus, the suffering of Christ on the cross, which more and more these days is bringing attention to the fact that Jesus suffered for us to expose the way we as humans harm ourselves and harm others. It's becoming almost the ecumenical primary emphasis now on the cross. And by exposing it, forgiving us and bringing us to a different way of living. So that's the gift of fasting and abstaining from meat on Fridays for us. It used to be throughout the year. Now it's reserved, only required Catholics during the season of Lent, which we're in, the 5 weeks preparing for the Feast of Easter, in which we commemorate the resurrection and the reality for us of eternal life. And but it's optional throughout the year, so it does depend. And closing with that, again, our friends from Islam, what an inspiration you are with the very, very strong fasting, because even myself, when I observe it, it really does bring you down to earth and the suffering of the poor, and actually a bodily, visceral sense of need, thinking of food and needing food and stomach growling for food, which really should unite us to all the people of the world. So thank you so much. What an honor to be with you tonight.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. I'm Shamsi Ali. I'm the director of Jamaica Muslim Center in Queens, but also president of the Nusantara Foundation. I'm also actually a member of the Mamdani transition team, so I was happy to see him talking here briefly. Thank you, Father, for such wonderful remarks and beautiful presentation. Particularly, we talk about us admiring the Muslim to fast. This is sacrifice actually, but I think Jesus' sacrifice is bigger than our sacrifice for one day not to eat. So thank you so very much for that. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I think one of the most important lessons that we must learn during the month of Ramadan is self-restraint. And I think we are living in a world that's full of chaos, motivated by egoistic tendencies and arrogance. The many mischiefs and destruction that's taking place in many parts of the world today is because of egoistic tendencies. People are tend to be outraged. So the month of Ramadan is the month that we train ourselves to pressure that ego. And with that, we can uncover back our spiritual strength. Because human beings are defined to be a spiritual being in a physical body. We are defined by our spirituality. It is not by our physical appearances. And with that, we can minimize the tendency of physical and material arrogance. So I'm white or he's black. It is about spirituality. When it comes to our spirituality, there's no difference. That's what unites us. But beyond that, the month of Ramadan also is the month of the process that we are discovering back our common humanity. Because that's truly our roots that can bring us together. We came from the same father. Of course, my Jewish and Christian friends, when they talk about father, there's a spiritual father. But I'm talking about human father. We came from Adam and Eve. And then we met into many nations and tribes, not to despise one another, but to get to know one another. At the end of the time, we must see ourselves one family, that is human family. But finally, I think the month of Ramadan also is the month of community. And when I talk about community, it's not only community in terms of Muslim community, yet this particular community, but there is a general common community, and that is human community. I think we need to rebuild our human community. We can come together, they actually we are one. And for that reason, an attack to any community is an attack to all communities. So again, thank you, my brother, Dr. Mehmet, for this wonderful invitation. I have known my brother for many, many years now. And when he said, you don't change, I said, no, I'm not growing. I'm still like this. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Thank you for the honor of gathering to celebrate the 70th session of Commission on the Status of Women and this Ramadan Interfaith Iftar together. As a representative of One Buddhism to the United Nations, I have participated in the CSW for the past 18 years. But then when I saw this year, the 70th session, and I feel humbled to reflect on many individuals and communities who have worked before us to advocating the dignity and the rights of women and helping to uplift our shared humanity. And this evening also reminds us that across our diverse traditions, we are connected by many shared spiritual practices and aspirations. And one of these is, I guess, the practice of fasting. And I believe that fasting is not simply about, refraining from food. It's a time for reflection, time for gratitude, and time for generosity. It invites us to slow down, cultivate self-discipline, and remember what truly nourishes our lives. And in the Buddhist tradition, we often speak about the cultivating a disciplined mind and compassionate heart. Practices of restraint through fasting, simplicity, or just mindful living help us see how easily we can be swept away by desire and distraction. So when we pause and practice restraint, we reconnect to the deepest quality of the heart. That's gratitude, humility, and the care for others. In doing so, we realize that our lives depend on countless conditions and on the generosity of others, and which Buddhism describes as the interconnectedness of all life. And this is why this period of Ramadan, like many other sacred observances in other traditions, is the time of generosity, hospitality, and charity. So communities open their doors, share their meals, and reach out to those neighbors who may not have the same blessings. And in this way, fasting becomes more than a personal practice of discipline. It becomes a shared practice of compassion, reminding us that our lives are deeply connected and our well-being is bound together. In our world today, many communities are facing challenges, conflict, inequality, and displacement. And times, the scale of challenge can feel overwhelming. And yet, moments like this, that people from different faith traditions, we come together, we share meals together, we listen to one another. We are practicing peace in a very real way. And these simple acts of sharing and hospitality help build a trust across cultures and traditions. And they remind us that our shared humanity is far greater than the differences that may divide us. So I hope this evening of reflection, gratitude, and fellowship deepens our connections and inspire us to work together for a more peaceful, just, and inclusive society. So may all be well, safe, and be free from suffering. And again, thank you for having me here. Thank you.
I believe the sun has set, so I will be brief. Thank you, Mehmet, for the invitation. I consider it a great act of hospitality to have been invited here tonight. As someone who's not fasting at this time, I look in wonder and awe at the way in which people are abstaining from food and any kind of liquid. It is inspiring. And I didn't come from communities or a community that fasted on a regular basis. We ate fish on Fridays. I was a Presbyterian by birth, and no shade to the Presbyterians, but we didn't fast. We didn't have a regular act of fasting, and I thought we ate fish on Friday because fish was on sale on Friday. But my first memorable experience of participating in a fast was at the time that my sister was struggling with cancer. She was 22 years old at the time, and I was told by my family that we were going to fast for my sister's salvation so that she would be healed. But there was no preparation. I was just told that we were going to fast, and only food, and only from sunup to sundown. And for me, I would like to say that I moderately passed the test, but fundamentally what that means is that I failed, that I was not able to maintain the fast. So the preparation and the intention of fasting was something that was missing for me. What I didn't know at the time was that the sacrifice and the intention and the discipline would be the place where I would meet myself, where I would meet my soul, and where I would meet the challenges that I would need to address in order to be and do what God would have of me. I know that now. And so on this Ramadan night and at this iftar, I offer my sincere and humble recognition of that which you are striving for. Fasting is a common theme in a number of traditions, but the intention of it and the fulfillment of it, the revelation that comes from it, is individual to a person. I tonight stand here with excess, not just here, but I stand with excess. I have a little bit extra. There's food in my refrigerator when I go home. There's a little bit of extra money in my bank account after my bills are paid. And if fasting can actually make me, turn me into, transform me to be more giving and more loving and more aware of the bounty in which I operate, then yes, let us fast. And let us break fast together, that our intentions for a world where we find ourselves in 2026 having a conversation about the dignity of women. There is something for us to transform internally so that we might transform the world. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank our interfaith leaders for their inspiring speeches and insights on fasting, generosity, and we are so grateful to them. Now we have a short video.
Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar dedicated to fasting, and fasting is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. Each day during this month, from dawn to sunset, Muslims all over the world abstain from eating, drinking, smoking, and other bodily desires. Fasting is intended to discipline a believer's spirituality, humility, and patience. Ramadan is a time to cleanse the soul, to focus on God, and to practice selflessness. Ramadan is also the month in which the Quran, the holy book of Islam, started to be revealed for the first time. The journey of fasting starts with the sahur, the pre-dawn meal. Fasting opens the doors of deep contemplation as the believer realizes his blessings. Fasting is not only about the stomach, but also the heart and the mind. Muslims should refrain from blameworthy thoughts and acts, an example, foul language, vain talk, and hurtful behavior. As one believer explains,
I did not even realize what a wonderful blessing water is. Since I have easy access to water and everything I eat, I did not appreciate them properly. Now, in the voluntary absence of them, I value and appreciate your bounties. Thank you, O Lord, for everything you bestowed upon us. I thought I was strong and not dependent on anything. Now, look how weak and needy my body has become. I am in desperate need of water and food. Without them, I cannot exist and survive. I am weak, O Lord. I need you and your sustenance to survive. Thank you for reminding me of my weakness and your greatness through fasting. I do have a desperate desire to eat and drink, but because I am fasting, I cannot follow my urges. I have to control myself and should not let my craving control my soul and body. Now I am in between my flesh and God's commands. Fasting will allow me to have a stronger will. Thank you, O Lord, for showing me the way of controlling my desires and teaching me patience through fasting. How about the people who are suffering with hunger and thirst every day? The beggar of food on my way to work whom I neglect every day. Now I understand what they're going through every day. Thank you, O Lord, for reminding me my responsibilities to humanity through fasting. I will share more what I have. I will not waste, and I will appreciate my life.
Muslims not only increase their prayer, but also their charity, kindness, generosity, patience, and forgiveness in Ramadan. It is essentially a month of training used to discipline and prepare oneself for the remainder of the year. Ramadan ends with the festival of Eid al-Fitr, which is a day of celebration and gratitude.
Ezan.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
With the call to prayer comes the command and permission to break the fast.
Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Our prayers are offered with the joy of fulfillment. I fasted for you, O Lord. I believe in you, O Lord. I put my trust in you, O Lord. I break my fast with your sustenance. Forgive my past and future sins. Amen.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience. Please enjoy your meal. And so this is what it's meant, to come around the table, to share the traditions of fasting and be a larger family.
So to start with, this was our first in-person panel. Thankfully, we had a full house participation. It was a great discussion as the team reflected the main thematic working area of this Commission on the Status of Women, ensuring women's access to justice and addressing structural barriers that we co-organized in partnership with New York City Bar Association's UN committee. And as I share brief reflections, I kindly invite the speakers of this panel discussion to join me at the stage. So our team shed a light on the priority working team for this year. So if I could have Miss Sophia, Miss Melissa, Miss Margaret, Miss Andrea, and Miss Evelyn, I would be grateful.
Good evening. I'm Sophia Mershkovsky-Roma, and I'm delighted to be here. I hope you're enjoying your dinner, and I know that we broke fast for Ramadan as we listened to the mayor speak, and I was just going to thank the organizers here, Mehmet and Ray, for this honor. I always thank the Manhattan skyline. But I just wanted to say that I'm humbled by the experts on the panel and all of you that have come to gather with us. I think that it's very, very important to recognize women and their status. And I think that in every field, not just legally, but women's status depends on how we how we portray women in society. And often women are carelessly portrayed in society. And the only uplifting thing to do is to have events like this so that we can encourage the fight against violence and to keep our women upstanding and so that they can perform all the good deeds and all the acts that they are meant to perform in this life. And I'm very happy to be able to have shared the panel with you on in that regard. Thank you so much.
Hello. For me, it's a really big honor to be here representing my country, Costa Rica, and representing the Costa Rican women. And of course, to share a panel with this intelligent, wonderful woman. And just want to be brief. I want to thank you, thank Henry, thank Mehmet, and the organization, and just repeat something I said this morning, that a democracy without women is not a democracy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Margaret Kobia from Kenya. I want to thank the organizers for really inviting me, particularly Kimberly. I kept on asking you many questions.
That's fine.
One time I didn't know if I was going to make it, but you are a great supporter. This morning we discussed women's access to justice, and I kind of submitted that access to justice for women is very critical because it helps us empower ourselves and be able to dismantle the socio-cultural negative norms. Because when one accesses justice, then even the other people are given courage to see you can seek justice. So I also interact quite a bit with the Harmony Institute in Kenya, which is an interfaith dialogue for peace and development. And I think somehow they made it happen. That's why I'm here. So I want to thank them as well. And the final call is for all of us. I think we can only be able to do this to promote gender equality, bring it together. Sometimes we may think we can do as individuals, but I think this forum that brings us together really makes it even prepare ourselves for the shocks and crisis, because when we are alone, we may not be able to do it. And for Kenyan experience, we have seen most gains come when women work together, because they are able to make a force that can attract other supporters to champion their cause. And I always say this is not a fight between men and women. It is for us all together for a better future. I thank you.
Thank you. So thank you very much for inviting me. I also asked him lots of questions also, since he was very busy. And I'm from the Torture, Abolition, and Survivor Support Coalition based in Washington, D.C. We work with torture survivors from all over the world, mostly who are seeking asylum in the United States, but there were a subset of asylum seekers. There are people who have already been tortured. And I would say about 30% of our survivors are women, and more than half of them are rape victims. At the same time, many of them are victims of female genital mutilation combined with rape. You can just imagine what that experience is. And it's great to be here and talk about these kinds of issues and to be part of this panel that I make some great people today.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting us, and thank you to everyone that we met this morning and my fellow panelists. I'm Evelyn. I am. Oh, never mind.
It's not.
Because this morning I did not have a hat on, but I figured it's a reception. I put on a hat. But I stand here on the shoulders of giants. You know, women that came before. I'm from Haiti, and as you know, in the Caribbean, most women don't have a voice. So when I'm in a space, I like to speak on behalf of these women. I like to be their voices. because when women are empowered, the entire family is empowered as a result. So that's why I formed the International Caribbean Alliance for Empowerment. Well, we're not going to stop in the Caribbean. Once we do start the work in the Caribbean, and also I've been working with some folks in Nigeria, so maybe Kenya as well, and then we can expand, because once women are empowered, the entire society is empowered. As a result, we all benefit. I want to leave you guys with one thing. My talk this morning was about inclusivity and equitable access to justice. You have women most often, because they lack finances, they lack resources. When things happen to them, when they're abused, whether physical or sexually abused, they do not have a voice. Most often, those people who abuse them are more powerful than they are, and they do not have the money or the access to get justice. So that's why I spend in this space. I speak for the women. I'm going to keep fighting for them, and I will not stop fighting until I die. Thank you so much.
So, thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm here to support our partners in any capacity. So I appreciate your thank you note. Well, moving on, as I invite our partners representing Security Women, I hope they are still with us. Security Women is a new partner for the Journalists and Writers Foundation. This is our first collaboration, a lead which leads a critical work calling for women's inclusion in security sector reform and political empowerment. And at this panel next Monday, we will be hosting experts of UN Security Council Resolution 1325, Women, Peace and Security Agenda, as there is much progress yet to be accomplished. So we will now hear from the representatives of Security Women.
Thank you very much. Great pleasure to be here and to meet wonderful people. My name is Bosede Akinbolushere, representing Security Women, and I will hand over to my colleague Han to tell us about Security Women and I'll talk about the event next. Thank you.
Thank you, Bosede. Distinguished ambassadors, faith leaders, and honored guests, good evening. Thank you to the Journalists and Writers Foundation for convening this high-level reception in Ramadan Iftar. My name is Ann Matheson, and this evening I'm speaking on behalf of Security Women, a global advocacy organization working to advance the meaningful participation of women in security and public institutions that are responsible for safety and accountability. I joined Security Women as a social worker and a nonprofit leader here in New York City. My career has focused on strengthening systems that reduce sexual violence, while also advancing the dignity and human rights of women and girls. That experience has shaped my belief that security should not be measured by force, but rather by whether people can live free from violence, fear, and discrimination. So 25 years ago, the Women, Peace and Security Agenda recognized that sustainable peace depends on women's full participation in decisions about conflict prevention, peace building, and security governance. It also recognized that institutions responsible for security must be accountable to the communities that they serve. So Security Women works globally to highlight research and monitor progress toward gender equality in security institutions. Our hope is that greater participation by women will help move security systems toward approaches rooted in accountability, human rights, and peaceful multilateral resolutions to conflict. At this moment in our world, that vision is more important than ever. So thank you so much. Thank you for sharing this space with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Ann. And in addition, we would love to see our beautiful faces on Monday next week at the Trust Center for the joint event with JWF on transforming the women and women, peace and security agenda. From resolution to reality, it's not just about numbers. We've had enough of numbers. Oh, how many women do we have then? We've gone beyond that. How many women, not just access, have control? How many women, not just access, have power, can take decision? So we'll just join us next week. We have people from the military, people who have felt it, to community leaders, our panelists are very rich people. So we look forward to seeing you 10:30 next week, Monday at the Trust Center. Thank you very much.
Well, moving on, now is the time to have the delegation of Romania. And as I have the speakers to share the stage with me, as an organization working on Association for Dialogue and Universal Values based in Romania, in this panel discussion, ADVU will explore how strategic use of media and active engagement of community leaders can serve as powerful agents for social change. And I'll be happy to lead and moderate this fantastic discussion. Aynur, please join me.
Hello everyone. Ramadan Mubarak. Hayırlı Ramazanlar. Yes, we came again here from the Romania and with the Romanian delegation. I would like to introduce with them. Andrea Marin, very famous person in the Romania. We are honored to join us this year for panel. We, as an organization, we have 5 panel. One of them in person. We are here again. And Andrea, can you?
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'm Andrea Marin. I'm honored to be part in an event with humanity and substance. Last night I found myself thinking about how to mold in to something worthy of your attention. So let me tell you something about me. I studied computer science and I was dreaming that this will be my profession, but my life had different plans for me. So journalism and television became my way, communication, human rights activism, and also entrepreneurship. I'm honored to be here today to stand before those valuable women who posed their true power to make substantial changes in our world. Sometimes the success of a venture requires the intuition, experience, practical sense, and sensitivity of a woman. It simply needs a feminine perspective to restore the balance of a decision that might impact many lives. We live in a world where humanity has made tremendous progress. We are on the brink of traveling into the universe. Interplanetary journeys are no longer mere dreams. Thanks to television, satellites, and advanced computers, we can now communicate at astonishing speeds. Our perception of time and space has undergone a radical transformation, and artificial intelligence is pushing boundaries we once thought impossible to go beyond. Remarkable discoveries bring with them accomplishments that would have been considered heresy in the past. We have come so far. Yet, instead of bringing us closer as humans, progress reminds us every day not only of what we have in common, but also of what divides us. If it were not so, our planet would not be increasingly torn apart by injustice and war. We would not allow the violation of so many human rights and inequalities, and we would be able to make our children grow stronger. Despite the technological and human intellectual achievements at our disposal, look at our world. The question is this world the one we dream for? However, I strongly believe that we can make a real change. Let's talk about this tomorrow in our panel. Have a great night. Thank you.
Hello everyone. First of all, I would like to thank to the organizer for thinking about this kind of panel. Also, I would like to thank to Aynur, who is the Vice President of the Association for Dialogue and Universal Values. I will speak tomorrow in our panel as representative of the Romanian Society of Victimology, also as a teacher in criminology and penal executional law, and also a little bit about my activity as a researcher in the Romanian Academy. I would like also to emphasize that my topic about tomorrow will be about victimization in Romania, especially a secondary victimization, about this need to respect ourselves, to be in dialogue. And I hope that tomorrow we will find some collaborative for future projects. I'm open it. Good luck, everyone, and good night. Have a nice evening.
Hello, everybody. I'm Maria Sorbina. I'm a journalist in Romania of National Public Radio. And after these few nice words, I will tell only we'll see you tomorrow at our panel. I will discuss about the public media role in this kind of problem we discuss together.
Step forward, yeah.
Good evening. Thank you very much for being here with us. For me, it's the second time when I attend these nice workshops here with our host, Mr. Mehmet, and also Cemre. I am very glad that I am part of this team and part of the ADVU here with the Vice President. I work as a professor in academia, where I teach women's writing and gender studies. Tomorrow I will talk about these issues in southern eastern part of Europe, because we have many things in common. All these countries were under communist regimes, and I will make a survey how the things changed during the last 35 years. I also work for the government. I'm the head of the Secretary of State Office at the National Agency for Equal Opportunities between Women and Men, such a long name. And we deal with gender equality and also violence against women. And I also work with NGOs, and I have an NGO supporting orphan children, supporting them to follow an academic career. Because in Romania, when they are 18, and if they are not enrolled in any kind of education, they are just they have to leave the institutions, and they are lost citizens. So tomorrow I hope all of you will be there, and I'm very glad because I met many people 3 years ago, and meanwhile I have met some of them, and I collaborated with them. So this is the beginning of a new friendship. So have a nice evening.
Thank you so much. As the moderator of this session, let me echo the invitation call. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Moving on now, we will get to know the speakers of authoritarian power, gendered body, and politics of autonomy. At this session, the panelists will examine how gender injustice is produced and sustained through the regulation and politicization of women's bodies across social, legal, and geopolitical contexts. So, if I may please have the speakers. I believe Cindy is with us, Rachel is with us. Please join me.
Good evening. Let's take a moment if we can. If you're here and you're listening and you want to be part of this conversation, then bring your focus here for a moment if we can. There are so many women who do not sit at these tables, who do not eat these meals. I'm the CEO of Bellwether International, and our work is on genocide prevention. Can we just take a moment of silence for women in Afghanistan, in Palestine, Sudan, so many places where women are suffering? Can we just take a moment? Thank you. They are the reason we do this work. And let me say that there are so many other countries that are here too. I stand in solidarity with you, of course, Turkey and the other, Romania, the other countries that were referenced here tonight. There's no hierarchy. We can stand with many countries at the same time, and we can stand with women everywhere. Genocide is on the rise, as you've all seen in the news, but so is genocide prevention. And with new technology comes new tools to prevent at scale. We'll be talking about how we take a gendered approach to genocide prevention, specifically how we center women as genocide prevention practitioners in this panel, and what you can do about it. I'm an idealist, I'm an economist, and I'm still hopeful for the future, as should you be. Hope is a self-fulfilling prophecy. The moment we lose it, there is no hope.
It's a privilege to follow someone who can still believe in the future that way. My name is Cindy Morris. I founded Women Who Change the World because we believe that the subjugation of women is dependent on the separation of women. We know that oppressive experiences are designed to reinforce the trauma that keep women apart from each other so that we cannot have collective agency and we cannot get into these rooms. And so it is our mission to create a space in which women are allowed to determine their own goals and work their own strategies to develop their solutions so that we are not having people solve for us, but that instead we are able to create the futures that we deserve.
I'm just gonna keep it very short as the organizer and the moderator of this panel representing AFP Advocacy of Science Turkey. We are looking forward to seeing you at the Church Center, 10th floor on Monday, March 16 at 12:30 to listen to Rachel, Cindy, and more about not only the problems, but also the ways to resist against that kind of oppressions all around the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, Rachel, I appreciate your call for a moment of silence because just to remind everybody in the room, more than 600 million women and girls are living within 50 kilometers of a deadly conflict event. So thank you so much for the solidarity. Moving on, now is the time as I invite my colleagues from Bachar Larai, we will travel to Canada. I now invite Anil and Aditi from Bachar Larai, main organizers of this panel discussion, our partners from Canada, as they will shed a light on the importance of AI for girls' empowerment in the economic sector. Please join me.
Good evening, everyone. It's so good to be here today. I'd like to take a moment first to acknowledge all the women in the bachelorette team who make all the work possible for us. Bachelorette Global is an international nonprofit working across 7 countries, enabling development globally through community, research, and advocacy. Bachelor translates to strive to survive. As we were born during COVID, helping people survive during a very unprecedented time. This is our 3rd year of partnership with JWF, working together to advance community development through advocacy. It's a privilege to be here with you today as the Director of Policy Research, and I'd love to share all the initiatives that we do at Bachelorette. But the most important one today, as Jenny mentioned, is the panel that we're hosting on Thursday, March 12th at 11 a.m. It's going to be at the New York University. The theme of this panel is Jobs for Girls, leveraging AI to match young people with better careers. I'm inviting everyone here today. We'd love to see you there. Make sure to reach out to me to register because security seems a little tight, and I'd love all of you to be there. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us, everyone. Honestly, today and most days at Bachelorette, Aditi has the final word, so I will give back the mic to her. I'm just very, very happy that we're able to participate at the Commission on the Status of Women, at the United Nations General Assembly, and many other forums, thanks to the courageous and kind support of our partners at JWF. So a round of applause for them, please. I think, when we started off our advocacy work at the UN, we have learned so much from these interfaith gatherings, meeting, leaders some who look like me, some who do not look like me, some who believe in the things I believe in, and some who don't believe in the things I don't believe in. But with every conversation, I felt like as a leader, I have gone back and thought about how can we do something better. And that's honestly how we have seen the Beijing platform commitment for Bachelorette as well. We were born, to be really honest with you, we were created by 7 men in 2020 to help with deliver aid to the global south, starting with Bangladesh and then moving on to South Asia during COVID. From that point onwards, as a grassroots initiative, today we have 40 people working with us. 90% of them are actually women, with I think 100% at management level are all women. And Aditi is actually our first women board of director as well. I know this is not something to celebrate over here as well, because we have a lot to do in terms of ensuring full gender representation on our board as well. But I think Jemre can vouch for us, because we have made a commitment to sort of deliver gender equity at the associate management and director level over the past 2 years at these receptions and other forums. And I'm very happy that I'm led by somebody like Aditi to be able to, fulfill that commitment. So thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Well, our last in-person panel presentation. Now it's my pleasure to have the co-founder of Core Belief Psychology, Melike. And I believe we have the moderator, Ebru, on board too. Please join me at the stage. This particular one was also hosted today with a full house participation, and this panel discussion holds a dear space in my heart as well. It was all moderated, organized, and spoken by high school students and college students. So we have Melike and Ebru to share the stage with me.
Hi, my name is Melike. I come from the UK. Today we talk about bibliotherapy for young people. Sharon was fully, isn't it? Yes. It was really important for speakers because they are students and they lead and they organize this event. And helps us as well. Yeah, thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you for the Journalists and Writers Foundation for this panel and for this reception. Today it was really great to have so many audience in the salon with us, and they it was my first experience actually as a moderator, so I was so excited, but it went so well. Thank God.
Bravo.
So yeah, thank you again.
My pleasure. You did an amazing job. Thank you. Thank you so much. While we appreciate the in-person presence of our partners, some of the stakeholders will be online participating at the CSW. Our partners from Poland and Greece will be exploring the role of women peacemakers and empowerment strategies. We have North American University and Council of Organizations leading a virtual discussion on the status of impact of women of color in higher education. And as the Vice President of ADL noted, they have some series of virtual panel discussions that will take place over the course of the upcoming 2 weeks. So I hope this section really provided a glimpse of the capacity building work and investment that we have been building since the last 6 months to convene this group of international delegation to participate at the CSW. So now is my time to ask my colleague Mehmet to join me for concluding remarks and presentation of youth advocates.
Jemre, thank you so much. Now I think it is time for the JWF youth representatives. I think we all believe that youth empowerment is as important as women empowerment, right? We agree that women empowerment and youth empowerment. So I would like to welcome all youth representatives to take the stage. Please come over. All right, so the JWF is dedicated to youth empowerment by organizing global youth leadership programs and to engage them in organizing these events. And these young people not only joined us in the reception, but they participated in the panel discussions today, right? They actively participated, they learned, but they also had some fun in Central Park, maybe Bryant Park, right? So that was a great day. We believe that youth empowerment is very important and we have to engage young people in the decision-making processes for innovative solutions to global challenges because they are the agents of social change, right? So that's why we are so grateful that they are with us today. Now, among them, we wanted to give the floor to, some young leaders. Let's start with Eileen Neşe Kılıç.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aydin. I'm a 10th grader in high school at Pioneer Academy. I'm honored to be here today as a youth representative, as a volunteer, and as a member of the Pioneer Academy Model UN Club. This is my third year volunteering for the JWF for these programs, and honestly, every time I volunteer, each and every time, it becomes even more memorable than the last. I'd like a moment to thank the organizers and volunteers for making today happen, for making spaces like these, and also including youth for us to share our voices and perspectives as well. I'd also like to thank all the speakers and participants here today. Your attendance and voices and perspectives truly show us just how many people support young girls and women just like myself. Thank you for including youth in this program. I hope you have a wonderful time tonight, and thank you all for coming.
Wow, thank you. That was such a great speech. Thank you. Thank you. Now let's give the floor to Bengisu Önkal. She came all the way from Canada. Bengisu.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daisy. I'm one of the members of Global Youth Leadership Program of JWS. I'm coming from Toronto. I always thought Toronto was crowded, but spending just one day in New York, I'm already convinced that Toronto is a very calm and silent city. So still trying to catch up. I studied human rights and activist studies. I'm here today because I'm coming from a background where I witnessed political conflict and human rights violation. So I just wanted to be here because I think I have a lot to learn from the experts like you. And I recently realized that when we study human rights, when we watch the news, seeing something on social media, after a while we sometimes tend to see those victims and survivors as numbers and academic data. But they're not just numbers, they are real human beings and they have lived experiences. So I just wanted to be here surrounded by the people who genuinely care about their rights. So I'm truly honored to be here. Thank you for having me this opportunity. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sue. Now we have Arun Kirui from the University of Pennsylvania, and he's from Kenya in origin.
First of all, thank you to the organizers for organizing such a beautiful event. As we mentioned, my name is Aaron. I'm originally from Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm studying finance at the Wharton Business School. And it was a pleasure to be here today to listen from both the older and the younger generation about such an important thing in our society. And I took away one important thing from Madam Kopia, and she said that this is truly a collective responsibility. Like it's upon both men and women to work together towards correcting this in our society. And I'm looking forward to joining such sessions in the future. This was my first time being in such a session, but I think it was truly fruitful. I got to learn a lot about this issue in depth from these young, amazing individuals. And yeah, thank you so much for being here, and looking forward to seeing you at future events.
Thank you so much, Arvon. Now, I would like to be very inclusive. So these are my Model UN club members, right? They're proud Model UN club members from Pioneer Academy in New Jersey. I'll give the mic. So very briefly, you can share some reflections. If you don't want to do it, you can just pass it up to the next person.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm the Brian Wang and I originate from China and I'm the Secretary General of Pioneer Model United Nations Club and actually I really enjoy this activity and just learn about the justice and the equality. I mean, I experienced a lot and I learned a lot. So I mean, I just use this experience or what I just learned to my next, to my future and to my future experience. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Nurbal Yilmaz. I'm from Turkey. And being here today and being in the Model United Nations Club with Mr. Kılıç has taught me a lot of information this year that I would not have been able to learn otherwise. I'm very grateful for this opportunity and I look forward to speaking with you all and learning new experiences.
Hi everyone, my name is Manwar Sadiq, and I think we can all agree this was a really great event. It was really well organized, and I think honestly, it was not just an opportunity for everyone to connect with each other, but also to raise awareness, and I think that's really significant. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Prishat Osman. I'm also from Turkey, and this is just a very nice program that we have here, seeing everybody from different cultures come together. It's just very nice. This is my first time volunteering, but I would love to come again, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
Hello, my name is Aya, and I'm from Palestine, and this is my first year with the Model UN Club, and I'd like to thank Mr. Kılıç because all the opportunities we've had with volunteering and all these trips is truly amazing, and I've learned so much. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sarah Ahmed, and this is my first year in Model UN. And I'm grateful that I can experience all these new things, like the panel discussion. It was interesting to know about like gender equality and other people's point of views. And I'm grateful to volunteer for this event for a room full of spectacular people.
All right, thank you so much. We are so hopeful because of you guys. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, so now we have tea, coffee, fruits that's coming along. At the same time, we have a beautiful skyline of Manhattan. Please make sure you take a look, you take some photos. You can change and update your portfolio, like your photo on your LinkedIn. Thank you so much again for coming. And we look forward to seeing you at the panel discussions in the following days. Thank you.